Hey guys, it's a sunny, beautiful day in California.
Oh Lord,
I feel for
I
you on
don't
the
know
East
when
Coast.
this
I was
thing
just
is
told this
going to
morning. I don't
end.
watch the news that much. A
This
lot of people
man is
told me
really
that it's
trying.
freezing on the East Coast.
I
In
don't
fact,
know.
sometimes it's
He's really
negative
trying to make
degrees.
content.
So I feel for
So
you.
now it's
I lived in
like
areas
every
that are like
time now
cold.
he come online,
So
he
be
trying
safe.
to
Keep the power
talk
on.
about people is being
Protect your children.
toxic, and the
And
only person
wish
that
you the
being
best because I
toxic is
have been in
you.
negative 20 degree
You're the
weather
one that
before.
always come online and being negative,
Where I went to college, it
talking
got that cold
about,
for a couple weeks ago.
bloggers is saying
Mainly
this
with the
and bloggers
wind
is
chill
saying
factor.
that. Yes, every
So,
bloggers is
anyways,
gonna
today's story
say
time.
what they see because you
This is
are
how I
in
fight
denial
back
for everything that
against
you
all
did.
these toxic
You keep
bloggers that
on
are trying to
saying that you're gonna
smear
be
my
suing
name,
for the book.
smear
You
my
never read the
family,
book,
and
and
in
now
general
you
trying to
want to talk
cast
about
me in a negative
bloggers.
light.
Oh,
So,
the bloggers
when
is
people
saying
are
stuff about
trying
you.
to
Of course,
destroy me
bloggers
with
is gonna say
negativity,
something about you
you give
because
you
we
dish it right
all
back
know
at
what
them
you
with a
did.
positive
And
message.
Korra, she
Okay?
wrote it in the book
So I'll just wait
and
for a second,
stated
let this
everything
thing
that
load
you
up.
did, but you're
I have
trying to
about
be in
25 minutes
denial.
till my next
You
patient,
want to
and
make it seem like that
I'm only a few
girl,
blocks away.
make things up in
Coming
her
from
head.
Wisconsin.
That's
Must
what
be
a
a little cold
narcissist
there.
do. So of course,
So this is a story about
ain't
those of you in
nobody,
rural America, the
trying to
small
lie on
town
you.
culture.
Ain't
Those of you
nobody trying
that
to
grew
lie
up
on
in
you.
small isolated towns, you
So
know
keep
that the
on
culture is
talking.
generally you
We're
don't
here
leave.
to listen.
Generally you stay in the town and you do what everyone else is doing, get a job, get married, have babies. And that's kind of what most people do. It's a cycle. And it's very rare for people actually to leave and do something crazy or extraordinary. Those of you that are from small town America, you kind of know that culture. There's nothing wrong with it. Small town America is a beautiful way to live. I just took a different direction with my life, and I could have easily just stayed in my small town. I was making good money at 18 years old, and I could have just stayed there and had a great life and had lots of fun. I just decided that I just took a different path and decided to go to college to be an athlete, and eventually here I am. So yeah, so basically this story is, this is about just people messaging me, looking at my brother's criminal history, and trying to use that as a means to try to hurt my family, try to hurt me, try to make me look like a bad person. And this is actually, a really beautiful story about my mother. All right. and I know my brother wouldn't care when I talk about this. But essentially, yeah, my brother went to prison for 10 years. In high school, he got caught up in the wrong crowd. He was a skateboarder, and he just made friends with the wrong people. Some background on this. And I can't speak for Europe, but at least in America, you're not judged on what your family does versus more like in specifically Nigeria. If you have a criminal in the family, it's like your entire family looks bad. So that's why they're trying to do it from that angle. They're trying to use my brother as a means to justify that I'm a bad person in some way. And that's just not how Americans think. So I'm addressing this because it's actually a beautiful story, and I learned a lot from my mother's actions. Actually, my mother is a saint. I'm telling you, that woman is a saint. So anyways, my brother got mixed up in the wrong crowd, and they like to just basically steal cars and go for joyriding. He was 18 years old, wasn't really thinking about the consequences. It was kind of just like a competition amongst guys who could do whatever. And eventually, he never hurt anyone. He never had a violent crime. It was nothing like that. It was all they just stole cars, wouldn't joyride them, and then left them places. Unfortunately, in Oregon, there's a law where felonies stack. So if you do multiple crimes and can get convicted of multiple things, you get more time. There's no deal made. There's no like consolidating it together into one shorter sentence, which is really, really sad because there was a guy in the town that actually went to prison for being a child pedophile, and he was only in prison for a year, and my brother got 10 years, which is really sad because the law values property, a car, more than a human suffering, which I think is kind of messed up, to be honest with you. I'm not trying to put Nigeria down. I'm just strictly talking about the culture as I know it. If I am wrong, please correct me, but I have been to Nigeria many times, and I was married to a Nigerian, and I have half Nigerian children, so it is my responsibility as a father to know the culture to the best of my capability, which is why I lived there for a little while. I have been to Edo State, Delta State. I've been to a few other states that I can't remember unless they're said to me. We actually did a crazy thing where we drove from Delta State to Lagos. That was a really interesting car ride. After 18, I didn't really see him much until he was 28. So he got out last year. So here's the beauty of this story and the life lesson that I would love to emulate with my own parenting. Sorry, I'm clearing my throat so much. My fascial chain here is so stiff that sometimes I need to get it treated. Anyways, so myself, my brother, my father, we didn't really visit my brother much. In 10 years, I visited him twice because I was sort of like, you dug your hole, now just lay in it until you get out. But my mother's love was a different story. She went and visited him every week in and week out for a decade. Think about that. My mother drove and visited him every week without fail, and the only time she couldn't was during a few months during COVID. Every week in and week out. That is dedication as a parent. That shows your child, in this case my brother, that no matter their mistakes, you still love them and you're still there for them and you still support them. And what I noticed is my brother stayed away from the bad people in prison. He didn't get in any trouble. He was a model citizen in there, and and as a result, he eventually got certain privileges where he was actually put to work as a welder. So he went into a training program within the prison system to become a welder. And now he's been out about a year, and he's married, or will be married in June. And June and Athena were going to be his flower girls. He has a 4-month-old baby, maybe 5 now. I posted him yesterday, baby Hunter. And he stays away from any bad influences. He doesn't do anything other than focus on his family and building a future for them. And I really do think that was because my mom never gave up on him and made it a mission to be supportive in the only way that she could, which was to visit him week in and week out for a decade. And you know, in the beginning, I'd say the first 3 to 5 years, I didn't understand it. I truly didn't. I was like, Mom, why are you, like, he screwed up. Why are you putting all this tremendous energy in, and seeing him every single week? Like that's, why are you doing that, And then I had my first child, and then I understood. And, June. And over time, I started to respect my mother for her dedication to one of her children, in this case my brother. And she has the same dedication for me now, through going through all these smear campaigns, lies, slander, people just trying to basically destroy my life. She calls me every day to make sure that I'm doing well and I'm doing fine. And that's what a parent should do. No matter what your child's going through, at what age, it doesn't matter. You're always there for them, even when they don't want you to be. So, but I'm not saying I don't want my mom to be here for me right now, but I'm just saying, like, that's what it means to be a parent. And I I honestly have I've honestly, I'm gonna just move here a little bit. I've honestly learned so much from my mother in that regard, because even though maybe nothing changed my brother's mentality for the first 5 years, it didn't seem like it to me based on the conversation she would tell me she had with him, but over time, it did. And I can guarantee my brother is straight as an arrow now. He's focused on his son. He's focused on his family. He's focused on nothing else than building a positive, productive future for his family. And I think, and I believe, and I saw it over time, that my mother showing him unconditional love and visiting him every week in prison for a decade was subconsciously started to craft that message in him that it's okay, you messed up, let's get through this, and when you get out, we're still here for you, and we're going to build a better future together. So why do I tell this story? I tell this story because this is my way of fighting back to the toxic jackals and hyenas and brainwashed sheep of the world that just believe anything they see online, and all these smear campaigns. I think there's probably about 65 bloggers on Facebook alone that are trying to tear down my reputation, put my character into question, and this is just one means of doing it. And I'm going to fight evil with good. It's like a classic Star Wars story. You have the evil empire that controls through brutality, fear, and harassment. And then you have the lone Jedi that is fighting with the blue lightsaber, and he eventually overcomes the empire. So I'm not afraid of what these people are doing. I'm not going to stop. You don't negotiate with terrorists. You just keep walking in the light. You just keep being positive and controlling what you can control. This particular narrative that they're trying to put out, that my family's a bunch of criminals. Yes, my brother went to prison. So what? He's learned from it, and he's a better man because he had to learn from his mistakes. I'm a narcissist. I really love it when people call me a narcissist, because you just need to Google what a narcissist behaves like. Narcissists don't apologize, and they blame everything on everyone else. I have adequately and consistently apologized for any mistake and taken ownership of that. A narcissist would never do that. Narcissists do not hold themselves accountable for their mistakes. They blame everyone else. It's always somebody else's fault, and they're always the victim. Please show me where I have behaved like that. I mean, humanity is doomed if we just repeat what we see on the internet, and we just see, oh, that headline must be true. Therefore, it is true because it's stated somewhere. Therefore, it's true. That's the kind of mentality that gets us corrupt governments, makes for just terrible, terrible systems in place. So, I mean, let's as a whole, as a world, start thinking critically. Don't believe everything that you hear and see. It's literally a goddamn tragedy that people don't have a brain for themselves anymore, and they just believe anything that they hear because somebody said it. Especially if a celebrity says it. If a celebrity says something like, the sky is falling tomorrow, people will believe it because they have the herd mentality. A celebrity is like a wolf, and the sheep are like the people that just believe whatever the wolf says, and he just herds them into the pack of other wolves, and then they devour them. It's insane. So that's my story for the day. You know, those of you that are new to my page, you know, my page is a page of education. My page is a page of positivity, critical thinking, my parenthood journey, things that are on my mind, and pretty much that's it. I've only been doing this for a year, so I'm still trying to get comfortable with having 2,300 people at once watching my face. But, you know, we adapt, we learn. Just reading through comments, that kind of stuff. Yeah, well, somebody says don't respond to the negative comments. I only respond to the negative comments when there's something to learn from the negativity. People regurgitate what they hear, and I almost have a civil obligation, because I have a public platform that people are paying attention to raise education, awareness, self-reflection, accountability on certain things that people are just spraying out there because it's a buzzword right now. Narcissists will apologize and then turn around and do the same thing in a split second. That's true. That's true. But a narcissist will never give you a complete apology. Meaning, I'm sorry, but you did this, which made me do the thing that hurt you. That's what a narcissist does. Somebody that's not a narcissist and has emotional intelligence will say they're sorry with no blame perched on the other person. They will acknowledge, hey, I can see how that hurt you. I'm sorry I hurt you. That was not my intention. I'm sorry. That's a real apology. Well, I get it 7 minutes until my next patient. I've been thinking about, you know, there's all this negativity around me going around the internet, and I've been thinking of ways to, like, basically fight back without violating court orders, or because obviously my daughters are my first and only priority in the immediate future. So I'm just gonna start spinning their stories into positivity with the truth. Like, for example, one of the one of the most common names for me on the internet is dustbin. I think I'm gonna go buy a dustbin and decorate it with dustbin, and just to make, you know, just to make fun of people that are trying to call me names, just like I did with Dr. Wolverine, because somebody thought I got liposuction in Dominican Republic. All kinds of stuff. Brain reset. Can't believe people, what has this world become? This world has become a very toxic place. I'm gonna do an entire separate video on this, because this is very interesting, especially since I know the truth because of my patient population. But people love drama. People love drama. I mean, you could make an argument that my entire social media platform has been built people looking for drama, and I haven't given it to them. People love reality television. I don't understand it, because if there's one thing I know about reality television from working in Hollywood and treating and working with the people, and I won't name names and I won't name shows, working with people that actually write the scripts for reality television. You think these reality TV shows are just off the cuff and they're reality? No, they have a script like a movie. They're not as like have to stick to the lines as much as a movie, but they have a theme and what people are going to say and what drama they're going to create on every single TV show. So it's not actually reality TV, it's a TV show based on drama. Simone, I'm not looking for empathy. I'm looking to educate you. I don't need your empathy. I do need you to raise your self-awareness of yourself and the world around you so that the human species becomes better. So I don't know if you guys have noticed what's going on in politics, the climate, and everything else. Like, there's some serious problem that our children, June and Athena, their generation is going to have to solve. And the lack of intelligence and ability to expand your mind and think and grow and not just do what you're told and not